Welcome to another episode of the Purely Talk Reacts. That's me, Mr. DHE, your host. Today we're reacting to Russ going on the Flagrant podcast with Andrew Schulz, and they have a debate about rappers lying in their raps. Let's get straight to it.
Isn't real, but it's negative, and you're not even living it. Nicki spoke on Future saying when I talked to Future, he told me he wasn't even doing the drugs that he talks about in the songs. I think Future's music is amazing. I'm grown enough to have the discernment to say, man, this shit is, Stick to the Models is like my favorite shit, right?
Russ, watch your mic.
Sorry. Stick to the Models by Future is my favorite shit, right? But I also know that the reason why I wanted to try Lean when I was 19 was Future. Was Future.
And I'm
not gonna blame him. That I'm grown.
I did think the drug shit was real. I knew the slide on ops wasn't, but
the drug shit.
No,
kind of
I'll tell you why the drug shit can't be real. Because you cannot
extent of what he was saying.
You can't do that many drugs and live this long.
Yes. Okay, but not to advocate.
Which is why when
negative.
Juice WRLD said, I started doing these drugs because of you, we have seen it live in the flesh. Juice WRLD said, I did drugs because of you. Juice WRLD died of a drug overdose by following somebody who does not even do the drugs that they said they did.
Like consume as facts,
but you have to understand, to a 17-year-old,
this is my life. How
to
is
a
that
17-year-old, a rapper is giving them news on the culture.
But it's
the same thing.
It's candy news. It's like sports is real.
No, but like rappers are
I
the
think
fucking.
we're kind of arguing two things. Like no one's trying to absolve rappers like influence. Like a parent should raise their kids.
For sure.
Kids can look up to somebody and be influenced by, but at the end of the day, it's up to the parents to raise your kid.
I agree.
So it's like this artist should be able to be an artist. If they are actually, and we gotta can't act like this shit isn't going on. Yes, there are some rappers that are fronting, but there are rappers that really are about that life. Like we see it happening. We see Chicago. We see there are. So it's like. You can't put all the onus on the
No. And for a disclaimer, I'm not talking about the ones who are actually talking. Like I said, I'm not talking about the ones who are actually talking about
but even the ones that aren't.
No, but see, that's where you have to start raising an eyebrow of like, this is a little bit evil. Because if you are purposely choosing to promote a negatively influential lifestyle that you yourself are not even living,
take that part in,
this is fucked up. I'm not talking about the ones who are like, yo,
like,
I'm
not advocating for it.
I really lived this. I did X, Y, and Z. I'm using my music as a journal to talk about it. Let them express what they express. The ones who are not doing it, but they're doing it because it makes money, and then they have blood on their hands.
I'm going to further reinforce the stereotypes of the black community from my personal gain.
And to their point,
that's a crazy intro.
And
that's essentially what the criticism is. It's like, if you are living these things, that's incredibly unfortunate, and you were born into a situation you probably couldn't avoid, and you should be able to speak on your experience. But if you did not live them at all, you are further reinforcing the stereotypes of the black community just so you personally can get
money.
While those people
that's the definition of selling your soul.
Yes.
That's the definition of selling your soul.
I think that criticism is good.
But to what we're all talking about, because what I've heard from a lot of people sitting here is, well, but it's WWE. Okay, so what we're saying, what I hear is that majority of rappers have sold their soul, but it's okay because it's art.
No, I'm saying.
Well, I will say also to his point, it's not just negative reinforcement. It sets up a negative reward system where you think to yourself, if I want to make it, I got to be one of the real guys. Not even fake it. I got to be real. Otherwise, if I get my card called,
bro, this shit is
phony.
I might
have to live that life.
I think it's a little hypocritical to just call out that because this happens in society everywhere. There are people that are selling cancer to you. There's people that are like tobacco industry.
Well, I wouldn't say it's hypocritical. I would just say it's hyperfocused.
But there's a lot that don't. McDonald's are killing people every single day, and it's like nobody's calling this shit out.
I know, but that's like that tweet where it's like if you say you don't like oranges, someone's like, what? So like pineapples just get off the. It's like
multiple things can be wrong.
We're talking about
McDonald's has received so much criticism, bro. There's been so many documentaries. Super Size Me is a documentary. Like there's constant.
No, but we're talking
criticism.
We're talking about music, and
we're talking about artists that are putting out bad music, and it's up to the people at home who consume that music how they live their life listening to it. If you're raised right and you know we can all listen to a Future song and not be influenced by it.
Yeah.
You said, hey,
that's because we're grown now.
Yeah, but if your parents were a little bit closer to you, they wouldn't have let you have access to that lean.
No.
You might have wanted to try it.
No, let's pump the brakes, right? We were all 19 once, right?
Yeah.
At some point, you're outside of your parents' supervision. So at 19, when I'm like,
Snap your W-2 and file your taxes 100% free with TurboTax Free Edition.
first dabbling into music, I'm drinking, I'm smoking weed, Future's going crazy, he's dropping Tony Montana. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And especially in Atlanta, it was a different time. You know what I mean?
It was sitting next to two people that have never done drugs, didn't have sex before marriage.
But everyone's
not everybody's influenced by what they.
I agree, but to your point, not everyone is influenced by what they're. But some people are. So you can't just write
put it on the artist.
Also, Alex,
no.
Real quick.
What I'm saying is you can't just say, well, these two people weren't influenced, so it's not at all on the artist.
Hold on.
Even though
One point.
someone like Juice WRLD literally told Future himself, I started doing lean because of you.
1 point. Let's say there's.
We can't absolve that.
Let's say
I'm
that
not saying
there's
it's absolute. Yes, there's some.
It's not that black and
Yes,
white.
yes.
Yeah.
Let's say that there's zero influence, right? Let's say it doesn't impact a single person. Nobody does drugs because of it, nothing, right? Everything's the same, society doesn't change at all. You could still go, you are profiting off of a trauma that is not yours, that you are also reinforcing a negative stereotype, even if it doesn't turn into anything.
That's true too.
You still are profiting off
agree.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That's kind of where I was coming from at first, which is
it's an icky way to make money,
if it's not your real life,
you could argue
to me,
that that's the culture vulture. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I agree. It's an icky way to make money, but there's a lot of people that make money.
I know,
this is where you're missing the mark.
Deflecting.
Hold on, Russ. This is where you're missing the mark. Nobody ever says somebody who works for Philip Morris didn't sell his soul. You sell cigarettes. You made it a point to sell cigarettes to kids. You sold your fucking soul. Nobody, if you call a cigarette company, is gonna be like, bruh, what about drug dealers? No, motherfucker, it's you. You sold your soul. So I just don't like that whataboutism of, well, what about these other You sold your fucking soul. Ray Kroc sold his fucking soul.
Yes.
Y'all sold your soul. We call them all out.
I will agree. It's an icky way to make money, but at the same time, I think you have the liberty of being an artist where it's like, hey, you get to make whatever type of art you want to make. If it's not positive art, then don't consume it.
Or just admit you lying.
No. I
just
agree.
admit you're playing a character.
Look.
Wrestlers don't have to.
I think to close it out, I think make what you want to make, but also don't absolve yourself of accountability when it comes down to if you're talking about something that's negative and pushing something that's negative that you didn't actually do or live, but you're doing it because that makes money, you sold your soul.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
We can agree.
And just own it.
Yeah.
And just own it.
We can agree on
But
that.
this
Absolutely.
whole notion that nah, chill, people should be able to talk about what they talk. Oh yeah, you can. But guess what? You're also not exempt from. It's criticism for selling your soul.
The Juice WRLD thing completely flipped me. I only thought about violence.
That's not my opinion.
Yeah.
That is documented.
Yeah.
He told him that. And Nicki is in interviews saying, I think it was to Joe Budden, saying that Future told her that he doesn't do the drugs that he talks about. So it's that to me,
I ain't gonna lie, that kind of makes me be just.
I said, I have a whole Future playlist because I'm grown and I can use discernment, but it's when you see somebody like Juice WRLD and who their introduction to it was because you glorified it, that's gotta feel crazy.
But then it's also, hey, where's Juice WRLD's parents, friends?
No, bro, because
where are the people around you that are
because then we're acting like
failed them.
then we're acting
They also
like
failed
no,
them.
that's
So,
not true.
yes,
No,
you can't put it.
because then we're acting.
And put all the responsibility on the artist. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, I'm making music for people my age. Just so happen that young kids consume it. It's not my responsibility as the artist to be hyper conscious about, little kids might hear this. No, because I'm not making it for little kids. If the little kids happen to run into my music, that's great, but I'm not making it for them. I'm making it for people my age. I'm making it for my age group. You know what I'm saying? And I can't. So yes, Future should take some accountability because he rapped about something that wasn't his truth as far as doing all the kind of drugs, doing all that and influencing people. But also, you can't not say it's not the parents' fault. The parents have to play a part in this because, crazy enough, if the parent has to work all day because they have to work all day, because I'm a single parent, it's not your fault, but it is your fault because now you're at work so much that your kid is at home with time on his hands, being easily influenced by whatever or whoever. So the parents play a part in this. The parents play a part in this for sure. Is it all the parents' fault? I would say majority is the parents' fault. The artist should take accountability though. But at the same time, I'm making music for my group, my age, me, my experience.
None of us were 19 before, where even if you had good parents, you just didn't want to be 19 and wild out because that shit sounded cool.
There are 19-year-olds that didn't want to wild out.
I know, but then the ones who did.
They're the vast minority, though.
No. But minority.
You could argue the foundation is set by the parents.
Listen, minority and majority is irrelevant. The fact that there are 19-year-olds who chose to wild out because they heard he was wilding out, even though he wasn't wilding out, cannot just be ignored for the sake of an argument. That still has to be like, yo, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
We're not saying that's the whole blame. We're not saying that that's what's wrong with the world. But there needs to be accountability. It can't just be like,
what if Michael...
Right. That's the alternative. The alternative is like, so what? So somebody died because he followed what he said. Big deal. Where was his parents? It can't be that.
Mm-hmm. You could also argue it's worse from an artist than it is from a film. Art is supposed to be art. The art that hurts people, that you're just saying, no, I'm just trying to make money and calling it art. And that's kind of like, as an artist, fuck you a little bit.
Yeah, but the guys...
I was on your side.
True.
20 minutes ago.
But the guys at Philip Morris were spending money trying to convince people that this isn't bad for you.
Dude, they're bad too.
They're
bad too. But you could argue, but to defend the artist and be like, dude, that's art. I'm telling you, as an artist, if your art is killing people and it's not even real to you, I could argue that's even scummier. And you can hear the vitriol I have for these cigarette companies.
Crazy.
These are monsters. You could argue. To say you can't argue that is wild.
No,
you
I'm
can't
just
argue
saying,
that. That's in the guise of art. I'm having people killed is worse than, hey, here's a product that I'm selling as a product and a consumer good that's killing people. Because I know you're a greedy fuck. I know you. I clock you as a greedy cocksucker trying to drive up a SharePoint. That's also what corporations are.
I just think we're coddling humans to be like, oh, well, you don't have the wherewithal to know that you shouldn't do the thing that you're listening to.
No, we're not coddling. We're just saying there is also accountability.
I think we're...
Coddling is just take the accountability. Like, allow them to take their accountability because it's almost like you're exempting the artist from any accountability at all. Which I say the artist should take some accountability for lying. He's not responsible for your kids, but he should take some responsibility for lying or trying to like push this rhetoric or this lifestyle that you're not really living, which then influences kids. Not all the accountability, but some accountability. Just be, you know what I'm saying? Some,
I think we are underestimating the societal pressures to just be amongst and just be 18 and be 19. And
but why can you be 18 and 19 and watch John Wick and not want to go out shooting everybody?
No, see,
why do you have that wherewithal?
But this correlation
Wick isn't a documentary.
This doesn't matter.
No,
like, why do you have the wherewithal to know that?
Come on, bro.
You're aware of the difference between the movie.
That to me, exactly. Hold on.
Right? What came on screen was like, yeah, this is real.
Let me talk, because I hate that analogy. I always have. Because it's acting as if, it's like gaslighting to me. It's trying to make it seem like Future is John Wick. No. We got introduced.
I think Future is John Wick.
Because you're grown. Guess who is the majority of his...
a Future lyric that made me want to do the thing.
No,
this is even when I was younger.
This is important.
When I was listening to March Madness, I didn't.
Russ trying to get his point across so much that he is the guest. So do you, dog? But like he wants the over the conversation. He's like over, but he's passionate about it. I think that's what it is. But he's like cutting everybody off. Like
DMX though,
bro. But
Keanu Reeves exists.
Hold on.
Keanu Reeves exists. It's over.
No, this shit this is a guy
that was influenced by DMX as a teenager.
Yeah, that's true.
To act like, come on, dog. To act like rappers are literally made up action heroes would then insult the integrity of rap.
Yeah.
So, because guess what?
Should be.
Hold on. So, which one is it? Is Future and 21 Savage, are they Gangstalicious? Are they John Wick? Or are they who they say they are? Which one?
What's Gangstalicious?
From Boondocks, which was a dude who was playing and portraying the role of a gangster rapper, but it got defrauded throughout the episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in
Okay.
hip-hop.
I agree, but what I'm saying is that you can't blame the consumer for not seeing through the image that they've been presented and saying, well, y'all are just dumb, and absolving accountability of the person who's perpetrating the fraud.
And
that to me is crazy gaslighting.
I think you can't blame the artist
Yes, you
for
can, 'cause
saying,
that's
like,
chapter
hey,
one.
you're putting out this
No,
message.
dog. Chapter one is
they didn't have the wherewithal to be like, hey, I'm not going to be influenced by the message.
That's almost like this. That's almost like this. Back to the Morocco story.
Yeah.
That's me selling you a fake rug and blaming you for buying the fake rug.
You should know.
Why am I selling the fake rug?
Future's not telling anybody to go out and do drugs. He's just saying what he does.
Do you know what a cosign is?
He don't go tell you,
A
yo,
cosign-
guys, everybody go out and do
But
drugs.
he doesn't do it.
People are what they do, not
doesn't
what
matter.
they say.
But he's saying what his
Come
experience.
on,
He's not advocating for
bro,
you to go
people
out
are
and
what.
shoot people.
Yes, bro. Do you know how a cosign works? Kids move off of what you do, not what you say.
There's a reason influencers get paid.
So
right?
it's like your
But
lifestyle.
they're selling it. They're
Listen,
saying you should get this fit tee.
bro, it's not
Unless
that
it's their
black and
brand,
white. It's
they're
not
walking
like,
around in it, but yeah.
Look, put it like this. I don't need to promote tequila on this podcast with my words. If you just see me pour it, it promotes it.
True.
So to act like Future's not telling people or what, it's like, come on, bro.
Well, can I ask a question? Here's a question. And you guys answer it. If Future said, hey, I just want to let you guys know, this is a character that I play.
He's never going to say
No,
that.
I'm saying
It would lose it all.
You're giving your answer.
Yeah.
So if Future can say, this is a character I play, I just want to let you know my character's Future. He does all this gangster shit, does all these drugs. That's not who I am. I went to Cornell. I studied business in there and studied music, and I'm an amazing musician, and I just choose to play this character. Here's the music. Do you think that his music would be more consumed or more popular if he was honest and said that, or if he was like, no, I am that character. This is who I am. You'll never see me break that.
Well, of course, I think he would be less popular if he was that open and honest about it. Because to Russ's point, people go based on what you do and how you move. And if you are portraying this lifestyle, it's in. For a long time, WWE, as kids, we didn't know it was faked. And they made a great living, I guess, maybe. I don't know. But my answer would be like, I don't think he would be as successful if he was honest about it. Because people prefer the rawness, the authenticity, or what they think is authentic. Because him coming out rapping about all these different, oh man, this dude is real. He's authentic. He's really gangster. So you buy into that. Now, once you made it, maybe once you, so y'all know that's a character I'm playing. I'm not really that. You already made it. You already have a fan base. You might lose some people, but you good. Future is good.
Character, and I do all those things. What would make his music more successful?
Is a magician show more attractive once you know how they do the tricks?
No, he sucks once you know how
No
to do
kidding.
the trick.
So exactly. They're never going to admit how they do.
If that's the case, then
Yes.
he is profiting off of the illusion. Whether the
Yes,
kids do it or not,
of course.
there is more profit coming from the illusion.
And he's not saying
Yeah.
100% of the blame is on the artist.
I'm not. I'm just saying that the fact that
But he can make more money doing it.
This notion
Yeah.
that there's no accountability for the person who's responsible for perpetuating the illusion is just gaslighting.
Yeah.
It's like, it's y'all's fault for believing it. No. Start at chapter 1. Why are you perpetuating something you're not doing?
Also, even
That's
if I
the
think
reality.
you're
We
fake,
reached the
I still want to
conclusion
do
of
it.
It's not all of his responsibility, but he's not absolved of any
that's
responsibility.
it.
Yeah.
It's just what we're basically arguing.
Beautiful,
is-
happy me.
What's the percentages?
Yeah.
That what we're doing is, and right now it
Yeah,
feels
we're
like
trying to
there's
figure out what the
Yeah, we're trying to, is it 50? Is it 49?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
But I think on social media, it's so extreme. It's like, it's all his fault or it's none of his fault.
Yeah, exactly.
The reality is it's like, look, both parties play a role.
Everything's going to play a role. Everybody's going to have a
Yeah.
little percentage. We just got to figure out what it is. But like even suggesting that there is a percentage, I don't think is a bad thing.
No.
But I'm sure if I'm a label, I'm like, hey, don't start this. This is how we make our money.
Of
If I'm
course.
an artist, I'm like, yo, don't
Bro,
start
when
this. This is how we
goes
make our
out,
money.
I'm getting flamed.
No, I'm gonna get flamed.
No.
Trust
You're
me.
gonna be like,
I'll tell you again, who's getting flamed the most? I'm getting all the flaming. And you're like, no, I'm
Yo, but
getting
think about him,
you're
bro.
flaming.
But think
Nah,
about
I'ma
what,
get crushed.
what Russ got.
Ultimately, I think they came to a happy medium. It's not, which is what I said this earlier, which I don't think it's fully future. I don't think it's fully the artist's fault. I don't think it's fully the parents' fault. But there is a team. It's a team effort. It's a team effort. One good point Russ said, now as a grown up, you can distinguish the real from the fake for the most part. You can be like, I'm pretty sure he's not really doing that, or I'm old enough and smart enough to be like, I'm not about to go do that because I don't want to risk my life. As a kid, you're more influential. You're more easily influenced, so you might go ahead and do all of this. But anyway, thank you all for joining another episode of the Purely Talk Reactions. I am your host, Mr. DHE. Make sure y'all follow, subscribe, like, share, and don't forget, Purely Talk Podcast drops every Wednesdays at 7 a.m. All platforms. Peace.